75 years have passed since the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor that brought the United States into the Second World War. Today, the leaders from the two countries are meeting to commemorate the historic occasion. Let's revisit the infamous attack on Pearl Harbor and why the relationship between Japan and the United States matters. The attack came on the 7th of December 1941 and was the de facto reason used by the American administration to bring the United States into the Second World War, already raging in Europe since 1939. Up to this point, the United States public opinion was largely against entering the war and preferred a more neutral stance. Japanese incursions in the Asia-Pacific region had been worrying Americans in Hawaii prior to the attack. Newspapers in Hawaii at the time had warned of possible Japanese strikes in and around the region. Significantly, a Japanese message sent on the 6th of December broke off diplomatic relations and, in effect, announced the beginning of the war between the two states. Interestingly, the message did not get to the Hawaiian base until the Japanese attack was already underway. War came to America at 7:55 a.m. on a quiet Sunday morning at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The base at Oahu Island was the home of the United States Pacific Fleet and about 50,000 American troops. At Pearl Harbor was the largest concentration of U.S. forces in the Pacific. A fleet of 6 Japanese aircraft carriers and escort ships stationed itself 230 miles off Oahu and launched the first wave of 183 fighters, bombers, and torpedo planes. They were to inflict as much damage as they could on the U.S. fleet. The attack on Pearl Harbor killed 2,400 Americans and wounded another 1,200. 2 U.S. battleships were sunk with heavy losses of life. Over 340 of the 400 aircraft on Oahu were also destroyed or damaged during the raid. The American declaration of war by Congress was a significant turning point in the Second World War and arguably of world history. The attack was dubbed as ruthless by the American press, and America's unwillingness for war prior to the attack had shifted to a need for revenge. In his message to Congress, President Roosevelt captured the sentiment of the time.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
The conflict ended after 4 years of brutal fighting, with humanity's first and only use of the atomic bomb by American forces on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. With the Japanese Empire's surrender, the Allies proceeded to occupy Japan until 1952. During this period, a forced democratization of Japan ensued, with a new constitution in 1947 and the dissolution of the Imperial Japanese state. With the Cold War in its early stages, Japan joined the Western Bloc headed by the United States and remained a close and strategic ally against Soviet encroachment in Asia. The Cold War was also marked by a period of economic boom, where Japan quickly became Asia's most advanced economy. Why this matters? The end of the Cold War in 1989 did not, however, change the strategic importance of Japan to the United States. This is why the meeting of the two leaders in Hawaii to commemorate the occasion is so significant, and why President Obama visited Nagasaki earlier in 2016. China has become the new threat that both nations have come to recognize as imminent. Japan fears Chinese provocation in the East and Southeast China Sea, where in some places only a few kilometers separate the two historic enemies. China's rise has prompted the Obama administration's pivot towards Asia, a policy that aims to strengthen the American-led alliance in the Asian-Pacific region to mitigate against the rise of Chinese military strength. This is why Japanese-American relations have become so important to both governments. It is deemed strategically important for relations between the two to strengthen as a way of containing China and maintaining the American balance of power in the region. With China on the rise, it is likely that there will be a renewed focus on American relationships with its Asian-Pacific partners, Japan being its staunchest member. The latest meetings between the two leaders is meant to emphasize this. Some would say that Asia is undergoing a military buildup not seen since the Second World War. Something that should matter to all of us.
Hey guys, thanks for watching, and as always, if you liked the video, like and subscribe, the buttons below, and we'll keep putting out stories that matter. Peace.